Today we're digging into something every developer should know, the 7 habits of highly effective software developers. We're taking the classic habits from Stephen Covey's The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People and giving them a software engineering twist. So stick with me because by the end of this, you'll know how to apply these habits to level up your development game and become more productive, more efficient, and more effective. So let's dive in here today. Welcome to Startup Hack. I'm Spencer Thomason, and here at Startup Hack, we'd love to train software developers in our licensed coding boot camps and build custom software solutions for companies. So I do a lot of work as a fractional CTO with over a decade of executive leadership and a solid 25 years in software development. I've mastered the art of transforming technology, teams, and products. All right, let's dive into these habits and see how they can transform you from a regular, code monkey coder sitting in a cube into a highly effective software engineer. All right, so the very first one here is be proactive. The first habit in Covey's book is be proactive. And for software developers, this is huge. It's about taking ownership. Don't just wait for someone to assign you a task. Be proactive in finding problems, suggesting solutions, and optimizing your work. It's also about anticipating issues. How many times have you coded something and later thought, why didn't I see that bug coming? Be proactive by thinking ahead, anticipating roadblocks, and addressing them before they become bigger issues. So in software, being proactive could be the difference between a smooth release and a catastrophic bug. So be proactive. All right, the next one from his book here is all about vision, and it's begin with the end in mind. So for developers, it's critical to understand the final product before you even start coding. This means having the vision of the product that you're building. You need to think about how your code will integrate with other systems, how scalable it needs to be, and what kind of future maintenance it might require. If you're just hacking together some code with no plan, you're setting yourself up for failure. So having a clear end goal in mind ensures that every line of code you write serves a purpose that brings you closer to a successful outcome. So start with the big picture, then break it down into manageable pieces. I also find that even when you're working on an individual piece, and if you get stuck, breaking it down and beginning with the end in mind and working things backwards a lot of times can help with this as well. So begin with the end in mind. All right, the next one from his book here is put first things first. So in software development, there's always something to do. Debugging, writing new features, refactoring code. You're never done as a software developer, but you've got to be able to know how to prioritize. So quote, put things first, unquote, is about focusing on what's most important, not what's most urgent. Developers can get caught up in the whirlwind of a last-minute change or a minor bug, but the key is to being effective is to learn to prioritize high-impact tasks. It's like choosing to fix the foundation of your house instead of repainting the walls. Prioritize the features that will move the needle for your project. And I know a lot of times as a developer, all people see is the paint on the walls and not the foundation. But you as a developer are being paid to be able to know the foundation so that you can build a strong house. So the paint on the walls is important, and I get that, but you've got to make sure that you're putting first things first and build a great foundation. Now, speaking of priorities, if your company has systems that aren't connected, it's time to fix that. Here at Startup Hack, our specialty is connecting systems to help your company work like a well-oiled machine. So check out startuphack.com/Spencer and let us get your systems working in harmony. Now, the next one is think win-win. Collaboration is the name of the game, and think win-win is about creating solutions that benefit everybody involved. So in software development, this means finding ways to deliver value to both the client and the end user. Could also mean being a team player, sharing knowledge, mentoring a junior developer, or contributing to open source projects. When you're always thinking about how to create win-win solutions, you stop seeing competition within your team and start seeing opportunities for mutual growth. This habit turns you into a developer who is not only technically skilled, but also invaluable to your team. And let me tell you, as somebody who's managed a software developer, those peoples are, well, invaluable. So think win-win, because this really is what can level you up to be more than just a code monkey. Even if you're a really good developer, these are the kind of things that make you stand out as an employee. Now, the next one, seek first to understand, then be understood. This is kind of difficult as a software developer because we know all the technical things and we want to do this. And so Often as developers, we jump right into the coding without fully understanding the problem. This habit is all about listening and comprehension. Before you start writing code, take the time to understand the requirements, the constraints, and the goals. Whether it's client feedback, team discussions, visiting with your product manager, involving the QA, or user research, listen first. I know one of the ones I see very frequently is when the QA throws a bug back to a developer. Very quickly, the very first reaction is, no, it's fine, right? And so as a developer, we need to make sure we stop, research the bug, and appreciate the QAs doing their job, right? They're saving us from a huge headache before something could go to production. Now, even if you end up with a discussion with a QA that says, hey, look, this may be a little different than the requirements, and we can probably build a new story to handle that, which I know happens frequently, then just do that. But again, understand first and then seek to be understood. So as developers, we often want to be the smartest person in the room, but sometimes the most effective way to solve the problem is by truly understanding it first. Once you've listened, your solutions will be much more targeted and impactful. And remember, you probably are the expert as far as the technology, but you may not be the expert as far as the business process. So that's very important to understand. All right, the next one here, synergize. Synergy is about teamwork and collaboration. In software development, the most successful projects happen when diverse teams come together to create something bigger than the sum of their parts. Developers, designers, product managers, everyone brings a unique perspective. When you synergize, you leverage the strength of your team to create something far better than you could on your own. It's not just about being the best developer on the team, it's about helping the entire team's success. So remember, two minds are better than one. And I've always heard it said that when two minds get together, there's a third that gets involved. And this is that synergy. Now, speaking of this collaboration, if your company's systems aren't working together in synergy and they aren't working seamlessly, that's where we can come in. At Startup Hack, we specialize in connecting systems to help your company thrive. Check out startuphack.com/Spencer and let's help your systems work better together. All right. Now, this habit is all about self-improvement, and this one is sharpen the saw. So as a software developer, you've got to keep learning, keep growing, and keep sharpening your skills. The tech world moves fast, and what was cutting edge a year ago could be obsolete today. So whether it's picking up a new language, exploring a new framework, or mastering DevOps, sharpening the saw is about constantly improving your skill set. The best developers are the ones who never stop learning. So take time to invest in yourself, because the more you learn, the more effective you'll become. Now, next one here, embrace change and adaptability. One of the keys to being a highly effective software developer is adaptability. The tech world is dynamic, and so is the business world, and new technologies emerge all the time. But not only that, business requirements can shift. So be malleable, be adaptable. You can't be rigid in your ways. What worked for you 5 years ago may not work today in technology. Embrace the change, adapt to new frameworks, and stay flexible in your thinking. And this is true for a lot of seniors and developers who aren't used to using UI tool or AI tools. Make sure you're using these AI tools. They really can help you to excel. So don't buck against them. Try to find out how to have them help you become a better software developer. Now, so stay relevant as a developer and avoid becoming obsolete. Remember, the best developers are the ones who evolve with the industry, but also remember the best developers are the ones who can be adaptable with business changes. Especially if you're in a startup world, business changes all the time. So you've got to be adaptable, be flexible. Now, next, focus on code quality, not on quantity. It's tempting to think about writing more code, and that means that you're more productive. But here's the thing, quality will trump quantity every time. Some of my favorite code commits are the ones where you're actually deleting huge swaths of code. A highly effective developer writes clean, maintainable, and scalable code. It's not about how many lines of code you can churn out in a day. It's about how effective you solve a problem, right? The efficiency in solving a problem is the most important. Code quality is what makes a project sustainable in the long run, and it's what sets professionals apart from amateurs. Amateurs write a ton of code. Professionals write very little code that's very effective. Focusing on writing code that the future developer, including yourself, will thank you for. So focus on code quality, not on code quantity. Now, if you want to be an effective developer, this one's another great one. Continuous integration and automation, right? You need to leverage tools that make your job easier. I always say the lazy developers are the best developers because they automate so much of their tasks. Automation works pretty much, given some variables, every time. humans make mistakes. So continuous integration and automation are game changers, or CI/CD, right? Continuous integration, continued deployment. And so when you automate repetitive tasks like testing or deployments, you free up time to focus on more complex problem solving, which is what you're really good at. So CI helps you catch bugs early, reduces manual errors, and eliminates and ultimately will speed up development cycles. So don't be afraid to invest time in learning automation tools. It will pay off in the long run and make you a more effective developer. So go after those continuous integrations, continuous automations. Now, if your company is still manually deploying things and manually doing things, make sure you reach out to us here at starterpack.com/Spencer, because we can help you get those tasks automated. Now, software development isn't a sprint, it's a marathon. So cultivate patience and be persistent. The most effective developers understand that complex problems take time to solve. You'll face bugs, hit roadblocks, and setbacks, but persistence is key. So, and I'm getting some comments here, and that's my favorite thing. So let me address these comments right after this point, because I love getting comments especially while I'm live, but even as later. Like, my favorite thing is answering questions. But let me finish this one on cultivating patience and persistence. Patience, persistence, and a willingness to iterate until you get it right are what make great developers stand out. Now, Code Labs says, cool, what about solving DSA for better understanding? I mean, to get good at problem solving. So to be good at problem solving, some of the best things you can do is keep doing it. So I tell junior developers all the time, get out there and try to solve problems, right? A lot of times for problem solving, what I find the best way to do it, Code Labs, is to zoom out on the problem, right? A lot of times we get so blinded, especially if it's code that we've written that has a bug. Zoom out, look at some of the indicators, look at some of the change sets if there's been recent changes, and then dig down in and try to find out what is exactly broken. Once you know that, and once you usually find what's broken, then solving it becomes easier much faster. So thanks for those comments there, Code Labs. Appreciate the comments, and that's one of the best things you can do is to comment and to like and subscribe. Now, measure success by impact, not by effort. At the end of the day, it's not about how many hours you put in, it's about the impact of your work. Highly effective developers focus on creating features or products that drive results. If a small tweak you made improves system performance by 50%, that's a win, regardless of how much code it was. Don't fall into the trap of thinking that working longer hours equals success. It's about working smarter and more efficiently, not harder. Focus on delivering value, and you'll find your effectiveness will naturally increase. Now, that being said, hard work and persistence will always beat being smart, right? And so it's a difficult balance here, because I love those developers that will dig in, work hard, and grind, but I also want to see everybody be smarter. So measure success by impact, not by effort, right? Now, what are your thoughts? Do you agree? Do you disagree? I love having a great discussion. So leave your comments down below. Here at Starter Pack, we love to train software developers and our licensed coding boot camps, as well as to build custom software solutions for companies. So reach out, because we'd love to help. Hit the links down below or go to starterpack.com/Spencer today, and we will catch you guys next time. Make sure you like and subscribe to the channel, because we bring you lots of great tutorials and tips that every developer should know. See you next time.